Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone to the Texas Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We have a killer lineup of a list of schools for you to hear from this evening. But before I turn it over to them, I do have a couple of housekeeping items. My name's Courtney, and I'm going to be your host tonight to introduce each college and university. But to let you know that this is a webinar, so that means your camera and your microphone are off. That means that our panelists cannot see you or hear you this evening, but they do know that you might have some questions as things go along, and they want to make sure that your questions get answered. So at any time during the presentations, you can put your questions in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and type out those questions, and then also indicate the college or university that you're directing your question to so that they can answer that appropriately. I hope that you're going to realize this is a really fun way to learn about colleges and universities. Maybe some schools that you've heard about before, maybe some schools that are going to be new to you this evening, but there are going to be plenty of more chances to hear about more schools. And so there's going to be opportunities both in the next 2 nights. So I hope you'll have fun tonight and sign up for additional sessions. This is going to be recorded this evening and will be available for playback very soon at strivescan.com/Texas. So let's get things started. I'd first like to introduce to you Salve Regina University, and Nick, take it away whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, my name is Nick Albanese with Salve Regina University, located on the cliffs of the Atlantic Ocean in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island. At Salve, we say that you will learn, lead, and make a difference. So in terms of academics, we have just over 2,000 undergraduate students studying a little more than 60 majors. And we have a lot of the popular majors for students, things like many different forms of business. New this year, we plan on adding hospitality to that list. We have criminal justice, we have visual and performing arts. We have a fabulous direct admit nursing program where we guarantee the clinical, so students will finish on time in 4 years. And then we have some unique majors. We have a Bachelor of Arts in Dance, for example, which we're very excited about because that's always been our most popular club on campus. And we have a really unique major called Cultural and Historic Preservation. Students in that major are very interested in history and how that intersects with things like policy. So students that maybe want to work on urban planning in terms of historic districts and how those preservation laws work. Students that are maybe interested in archaeology, in curating art galleries, in restoring historic foundations from the 1800s and so on. So that major really helps you to apply history and to work in many different careers related to history and preservation. And it makes sense that we have such an emphasis on a major like that because we're located in one of the most historic districts in New England. We're in Newport, Rhode Island, in the Bellevue Avenue Historic District. There's actually a TV show on HBO right now called The Gilded Age, and they're filming all around the area. And so a lot of the buildings that you see on that show, those Gilded Era mansions, estates, barns, carriage houses, we have those buildings. About half of our buildings are those converted estates set on 80 acres in the cliffs of the Atlantic Ocean and blended in with modern buildings. So our campus is an arboretum. We're one of the top 50 most beautiful colleges, according to Condé Nast. But beyond the beauty, I think it's just so interesting how our campus is seamlessly connected to the area around us. So we're a small university with just over 2,000 students. But I think it's nice that because we have this open campus, we're connected to the area around us, students feel very comfortable getting outside of the bubble that college can sometimes become and kind of broaden their horizons, get into the city of Newport, which is a fabulous historic downtown dating back to the 1600s. So we're a top 10 college for surfers. There's tons of nature and historic sites around, a fascinating place to go to college. And there's lots of things to do on campus. We have 20 Division III varsity sports. We're in the sailing capital of the world, so that's very popular. We also have pretty competitive club sports like rugby. They've been national champions several times, equestrian, swimming. We have over 60 student-led organizations, and in the last few years, we've added some affinity groups. Like we have our Black Student Union, the Female Empowerment Club. So it's really nice to see those groups being added. We have the Pell Center for International Relations and Public Policy. It's a think tank on campus. So students that are interested in public policy, political science, it's a wonderful way for them to engage with speakers from all over the world coming right to our campus. There's always events going on. It's definitely not a suitcase school. In fact, we require our students to live on campus freshman through junior year. And then senior year, there's lots of really interesting apartments and houses, usually by the beach or by the historic downtown. So students kind of want to move off campus by that point. And all of our students are involved in community service. So that's definitely a big part of our mission. We are founded by the Catholic Sisters of Mercy. We're open to all backgrounds and faiths. In fact, the sisters, when they wrote our mission statement, the very first line they chose to write was, as a community that welcomes people of all beliefs. So we value that inclusivity, value the liberal arts experience at Salve. And the very last line is, we work for a world that is more harmonious, just, and merciful. So we want to empower students to make the world around them a little bit better. There's 5 critical concerns that the sisters want our students to be able to know something about and be able to work on, hopefully when they graduate. Things like climate change, immigration reform, nonviolence, anti-racism, and promoting women's rights. The sisters advocate for these things at the United Nations and then through their member institutions, schools like Salve. So in terms of admission to Salve, most students are kind of between a B+ and an A- GPA. We are completely test optional for all majors, including nursing. We're on the common application, so it's pretty simple to apply. We waive the fee for our Texas students. So all you have to do is sign up or send me an email. I'm happy to give you that fee waiver. You can apply to Salve in November, January, or February. We do have a binding option, which is early decision, but all of our other options, you have until May 1 to make up your final decision. Nearly all of our students have financial aid. And new this year, any student that identifies as a student of color or Latino will automatically get one of our highest scholarships with the option to get a full tuition scholarship before need-based aid as well. So we're really making that commitment to increasing our diversity on campus in all forms, but especially our racial and ethnic diversity. There's a number of events coming up. You can find those at salve.edu/visit, especially our open house on April 24th. And you can scan that QR code if you'd like to contact me in the future. I'm going to post my information down here in the chat as well. Unfortunately, I do have to leave this presentation a bit early, but I'll stay on for the next several minutes if you want to put any questions in the Q&A. Thank you so much, and I will turn it over to our next presenter.
Thanks so much, Nick, and thanks to Salve Regina University for a fabulous presentation. Next up, you're going to have the opportunity to hear from the University of Redlands. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. So my name is Sejawati, and I'm one of our admissions counselors here at the University of Redlands, located in Southern California. I'm going to walk you all through just some basic information about who we are and how things work here at Redlands. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the University of Redlands, we're a small private college here in Southern California. We're not located in LA proper, but located out towards the suburbs, sandwiched between Los Angeles and Palm Springs. What's nice about our location is we are able to be residential, and it's a quiet, welcoming community, but we're not in the middle of nowhere. And so students still have access to Los Angeles, Palm Springs, and the rest of Southern California. We want to make sure that our students enjoy both their academic and their student experience here at Redlands. We are a residential institution, and so we're guaranteed to house our students for all 4 years. So this is home for our students. This is where they study, where they hang out, and really kind of just the center of the student life. And then, as I mentioned, our goal is to educate the hearts and minds. So we want to provide a balanced education. We want to make sure that students have everything they need to do well, both in the classroom, as well as to do well academically. So up top now, you have the list of our majors at Redlands. We have a little bit of everything, even though we are a small school. Since our classes are small, our student faculty ratio is 13:1. All classes are taught by faculty. Our students know each other, and they know the professors who they're learning with. Since we have no impacted majors, with the exception of our 2 specialty programs, which are our Johnson and Music program, we don't admit by major. So that means for the majority of students, everyone goes through the same exact admissions process. They come in undecided, and then students have time to explore, see what we have to offer, and figure out which of our programs is really going to make the most sense for them and what they want to study. The only students who have a slightly different process is anyone who would like to create their major in the Johnson Center. That's a special program we have for students who want to do something different in college. They can create an interdisciplinary program, but they have to apply to do so. And then music also does require an audition. So if you want to create your own major, or if you're looking to study music, you will have some additional steps. But again, for everything else, everyone goes through the same process. Students start out undeclared. They have time to explore before they make any type of commitments. It's also important for us at Redlands that we get you out of the classroom. So that might look like study away, internships, service, research field work, but we want to make sure that your learning does not just take place in the 4 walls of the institution. And so we try to incorporate as many of these into someone's academic experience as we possibly can, be it a semester abroad, again, internships and service. These things are set up either by the academic department or by our Office of Career and Professional Development, which does a great job of making sure that students are prepared and sharpening their tools so that they can be successful after Redlands. So for any of you thinking about applying to Redlands, this is the process for our first-year students. We are also a common application school, so any interested students would apply to us using the common application, send in all the, and then also send in the necessary parts like transcripts and letters of recommendation. And then we are test optional, so we do not require an SAT or ACT. What everyone though has to submit is a Common App, transcript, and letters of rec. You'll see we have multiple deadlines for you all to choose from. Again, regardless of the deadline, we need the same parts from all of our students. And then last but not least, I want to just touch upon financial aid. We know costs are often a really big concern for families, so know that we do offer a variety of financial aid. It can be need-based aid based on FAFSA. We also give academic scholarships, and that would be based on your GPA. And then we give talent awards as well. Our financial aid is stackable, so students can receive multiple kinds of financial aid from Redlands. We want to make sure that we are as affordable as possible to many students. And so know that if you are admitted, we typically will provide you with this information up front, that way you know exactly what your cost would be should you decide to come to Redlands. So that kind of wraps up the quick presentation. Hope to connect with you all at another point in time. So if you have any additional questions, please contact us, follow us on social media, and then also you can find a lot of this information on our website. It was great to see you all tonight, and I hope that you enjoy all the different presentations that are happening today.
Thank you so much to you and the University of Redlands. Audience, don't forget, you can put any questions that you have in the chat, or I'm sorry, in the Q&A below. Just type out your question and also note the college or university that you're directing your question to. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Pacific University, Oregon. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And welcome, everybody. I hope you're all having a good evening. And we're going to head a little bit further north now and head up to the northwest corner of Oregon. My name is Derek Nagley, and I am your admissions counselor here at Pacific University. I get the pleasure of working with all the students applying from Texas, so I look forward to working with many of you through the process. And Pacific itself is a small private liberal arts school. We're located, like I said, in the northwest corner of Oregon. But what that means for you coming from out of state means you're going to be able to fly into the Portland International Airport, one of the top airports in the US. And then you're going to be able to travel out to campus, whether that's a friend in a car, maybe catching one of the shuttle buses, or using mass transportation all the way out to our edge of campus. So we're about 30 minutes from downtown Portland. So you get that big city life. You're able to go in and see a professional basketball game. But we're also just outside of the city limits in that you're actually able to be in the Tillamook National Forest, which is these trees you see behind me, in over 1,200 miles of hiking trails within 15 minutes of campus. So if you're looking for that adventure into the Pacific Northwest, Pacific is going to set you up very well for being able to get out and explore the Pacific Northwest without having to leave campus very far behind. At the same time, we're right next to what's called the Silicon Forest. So that's those major companies moving into Portland. giving our students the opportunity to work at places like Nike, Intel, Xerox, and Columbia, and build that in as part of their education at Pacific. And when you apply to Pacific, you're applying to Pacific. You don't have to apply to a specific program, a specific school, or an honors college, but you can choose from any of our 75 different majors, minors, and programs we have at Pacific. And as a liberal arts school, you're going to see us ranging across the board. We're best known for the pre-health professions, like a pre-physical therapy type track, but we also have nationally and regionally ranked creative writing, education, and business programs as well. And we just added this year a sports leadership and management, sports communication, and outdoor leadership majors for you to add into those interests that you might have at Pacific. And even if you don't know what you want to study, the great thing is when you apply, you're not having to pick that major right away. So you're able to come in undecided very easily. And in fact, about a third of our students at our undergraduate level, which is about 1,900 undergraduate students, come in undecided and are still able to get in and out of Pacific in that 4-year guaranteed education while they're here. We do also have 2,000 graduate students, primarily in the health professions, but they're on a separate campus. So as an undergraduate student, you're going to be working with those 1,900 undergrad students. And our classes are small, like you're going to hear from many of these schools. Our average class size is about 19. Our largest lecture hall seats 60. So you're not going to be in big classes where you get lost. And that's a good thing because our classes are all taught by full professors. So they're in there, they know your name, they're going to be able to reach out to you and talk to you about their thing that they're very excited about. And like I mentioned earlier, you also get that 4-year guarantee. That when you come to Pacific, we can guarantee that you will be getting that 4-year education. And then that we aren't just going to say good luck, but that you're actually building a resume along with that. As the top private research university in the Pacific Northwest, that applies to all of our majors, not just the sciences where we do a ton of research right on our campus, but those business students going out and getting an internship or doing research with a company nearby, our sociology department or our history department doing living history research with local Native American tribes. You're going to have that opportunity to test out your major as early as your freshman and sophomore year, and then continue to build on that while you're here at Pacific for all 4 years, rather than having to pick that one thing and hope that you're on the right track. And while you're doing that, we do also want you to take a deep breath and enjoy your time. And one thing that's really fun with Pacific is our average graduating seniors this year are involved in 3 clubs or sports that have nothing to do with what they're studying. And so what I mean by that is when you come to Pacific, you get to pick that identity, that talent, that passion that you have, and you get to build it, no matter what else you pick and mix in there. And it makes our student body really interesting because you're going to come in and find friends who might be on a sports team, sing in the choir, and also be part of the student government and be studying biology all at the same time. And that's most of our students. So we encourage our students to join some of our 70 different clubs and organizations, including our Hawaii Club, which actually puts on the largest student-run luau in the mainland US, or being part of our performing arts majors, where you don't have to major or minor to be part of them. If you just want to participate, you're able to do that. Or joining some of our 24 varsity, 28 intramural, and 10 club sports at the NCAA Division III level. You're going to have those opportunities to keep building on those things that you're really excited about in high school. And like you've heard many other schools mention, we also don't want you just sitting in the classroom. We want you to take that education outside. And whether that outside is in the Pacific Northwest, taking advantage of this beautiful area behind me and doing our outdoor pursuits trips and learning how to kayak or surf on the Oregon coast, or maybe that means studying abroad in 27 direct study abroad sites, or taking 2 to 3 week travel classes where you might be doing a specific subject with a professor, or you might be building on our community service program at Pacific and actually helping different parts of the world or locally as well to use some of those skills you're learning to help solve problems. And again, when you apply to Pacific, you've applied to Pacific and you've started your application for scholarship. Like many of these other schools, we also use the common application. Ours is completely free. And when you reach out, I'm going to be the one on the other end working with you. So you'll be able to talk to that admissions counselor here. Our merit scholarships, which over 99% of our students receive, range from $15,000 to $27,000 per year for all 4 years you're here at Pacific, and they are totally test optional. You can be admitted to Pacific and receive a merit scholarship without test scores. You can also apply for music, dance, theater, speech and debate, and all of our other special interest and talent awards, or come visit campus, whether that's this summer for maybe an Oregon Private College Week visit, or coming back senior year for a senior preview scholarship day, either in person or online to earn some scholarship and get a feel for what it's going to be like while you're here at Pacific. As I mentioned, I'm your admissions counselor here at Pacific. This is my contact information, and I will drop it into the chat as well. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Pacific University, Oregon. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Fort Lewis College. Take it away, Al, whenever you're ready.
All right. So my name is Al. I am the admission counselor for all of Texas for Fort Lewis College. I'm also an alumni, so I graduated in December of 2020. I loved it so much I just never left. So Fort Lewis College is a small public liberal arts college located in Durango, Colorado. We do have an airport. I always like to point that out. So we go directly to Denver, Dallas, and Phoenix. So a quicker flight than a drive for sure. We're close to places like Telluride, Canyonlands, Mesa Verde, all of that, and about a 6-hour drive from Denver. Within 30 minutes of campus at Fort Lewis, we have access to 300 miles of hiking and biking trails, as well as 5 different ski resorts within 2 hours. First year students actually get a free ski pass to Purgatory Ski Resort when they start at Fort Lewis. So if you've ever wanted to start skiing or snowboarding or anything like that, it's a great time to try. We do have Outdoor Pursuits on campus. It's an organization your student fees pay for, so you can rent whatever outdoor gear you can think of for free. If you want to try rock climbing, kayaking, skiing, snowboarding, any of that, we want to encourage you to do it in an accessible and safe way. So that's a lot of what Fort Lewis is about. If you're outdoorsy, it's a great place for you. So Fort Lewis is a smaller school. We have around 3,500 students. We have 45 different states represented, and we do have a very diverse student population as well. 57% of our students are people of color, and we have 185 different Native American and Alaska Native tribes represented on campus as well. We are one of 2 undergraduate institutions in the country that offer the Native American tuition waiver. So any member of a US federally recognized tribe or Alaska Native village can attend Fort Lewis with their tuition waived. To qualify for that, you can qualify based on your own enrollment, your parents, or your grandparents, as long as one of those people has a certificate of Indian blood or tribal enrollment card. So when I was looking for colleges, one thing that was really important to me was smaller class size. I didn't want to be 1 in 400 in a lecture hall, right? I know I'd be way too anxious to ask a question in front of 400 other people. The biggest class I ever had at Fort Lewis was 40 students, and the average class size is 21 students. What that meant for me was that I knew every professor by first name. They all knew me by first name. I got coffee with one of them last week, and you're really getting to access your professors in a different way. All of our classes are taught by these professors, so you're really getting to connect with them and the material in a deeper sense. We have over 50 majors and certificates, and this is where that connection with professors really comes into play, as well as our focus on experiential education. That's a huge part of Fort Lewis, regardless of the major you go into. We think you can only learn so much sitting in a classroom 5 days a week for 4 years. We want you to get out there, get excited about your major, and have experience that really sets you apart when you graduate. So for like our School of Business, we have Hawk Tank, like Shark Tank. Students will submit their business proposals, and the winner gets $10,000 to actually start their business. We have Adventure Education, which is a pretty unique major to Fort Lewis. You're learning leadership and teaching skills while out there backpacking, kayaking, mountaineering, things like that. But you have a whole semester where you're not in the classroom. You're out there learning those skills while doing those things. So super hands-on. I was a psychology major, and we do a trip every year to places like Spain, Costa Rica, Brazil to do research and study happiness. So regardless of the program you go into, it's going to be hands-on. You're going to come out excited and with all that experience that sets you apart. So that can look like internships. When I was a student, one of my professors helped place me in an internship in Washington, D.C. So I was able to lobby with an organization I supported, get paid for it, and get class credit for it, which was pretty cool as an undergraduate student. Field studies. We're really close to Mesa Verde and places like that. So for archaeology, it's a really great opportunity. Study abroad, we have sister schools across the globe, service learning, presentations, public performance, all of that. We're going to make sure that you're getting that experience. On campus, we have over 60 clubs and organizations, everything from our board game club, which is super popular right now, to our Math Honors Society. We're an NCAA Division II school, except for our cycling team, which is USA Division I and one of the best in the nation. Basically, there's always going to be stuff going on. I found it hard not to be involved as a student, which was what I loved about Fort Lewis. You might not believe it, but I was very shy when I went into Fort Lewis. So for first year students, our average GPA is between a 3.0 and a 3.79. We look at transcripts, and we are test optional as well. We are also on the Common Application. You can apply on our website as well. We take a holistic look at academic careers. So we look at your grades in your core subjects. We look at what was going on while you were in school and all of that. So we want to understand you as a person as well as your GPA. And then our merit-based scholarships, you're automatically applied for when you apply at Fort Lewis. We give you the highest one we possibly can. We do have our FLC Equity Scholarship, which is $2,000 a year over 4 years. And then of course, seeing is believing. As you can see from my background, Fort Lewis is gorgeous and we want you to come visit if you can. So these are some of the opportunities to do that. But if you have any questions, here's my contact information. Like I said, I am the admission counselor for all of Texas, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions y'all might have.
Thank you so much to you and Fort Lewis College. Our next presentation tonight will be from Miami University. Take it away, Ted, whenever you're ready. And you might still be on mute.
You'd think I would have learned how to do this by now.
Hey, that's okay.
Good evening, my name is Ted Peters. I'm the Assistant Dean for the College of Arts and Science. I'm realizing right now that I feel a little bit out of my depth because I am not an admission counselor. So what I have to say tonight is coming probably from a different perspective. I started my career at Miami University teaching English before moving into advising and then ultimately on to administration. So I'm probably going to take a more philosophical perspective or view, but at a quick glance, a little bit about Miami. We are located in Oxford, Ohio, which is in the southwest corner of the state of Ohio, about an hour away from both Cincinnati and Dayton. So we are certainly close to some pretty cool cities. We're about 17,000 undergraduate students and an additional 3,000 graduates. So we're a mid-sized residential college. About 94% of our first year students live on campus for the first 2 years. I think what this does for the campus is it makes a mid-sized university seem a little bit smaller. By the time you are graduating, you certainly are walking around with a sense of knowing a lot more people than you would have thought when you originally started on campus. We have 5 academic divisions. We have the College of Arts and Science, which is where I am. We also have a College of Creative Arts, a College of Engineering and Computing, a College of Education, Health and Society, and then our Farmer School of Business. We offer over 120 majors at the undergraduate degree level. I couldn't list them all because I'd spend all of my time talking about them. I think a couple of unique aspects to the Miami student is that a majority of our students do study abroad for a summer, winter, or full semester term. We also have students who go abroad for an entire year, depending on their program. And we think that that is a kind of hallmark of a Miami education. At the core of our educational philosophy at Miami, we are about the liberal arts education. And when I work with students, a lot of times the questions that I get is really, what does that mean? And more specifically, what does that mean to me as an incoming, or prospective student? Does that mean that I'm going to be educated in a specific area? Well, Miami, what we think is important is collaboration and kind of cross-pollination of ideas. So for us, a liberal education is about building a context and an understanding of why things happen, so that as you're looking at your discipline area, whether that's anthropology or teacher education or computer science, no matter what it is, that you know what the bigger picture is and how to make meaning between that big picture and what's going on. This is something that we expect all of our students to do. So it doesn't matter which academic division you're in or what major you're pursuing. We want you to be able to do that. How that translates to the larger world is it places our graduates in an area where they are flexible in their way of thinking, flexible in their approach to problem solving and communication, which are skills that are very valuable and sought after in the professional and corporate world. A basic foundation for what all of our students are being asked to do is take a certain set of courses. I think if you ask, what is a traditional Miami student or a typical Miami student, really, what are some key characteristics? It's about being curious. It's about being engaged. It's about asking questions. It's about working closely with faculty. It's about being involved in research, and that is across the board in all of our divisions. All of our students take courses in creative arts, in English composition and writing, in humanities, social science, global and intercultural perspectives, the natural science, both biological and physical, and math, data analysis, and formal reasoning. So for us, that's the foundation of a Miami degree and a Miami experience. And it allows people who know Miami and our academic reputation, they know what they're getting when they're talking to an alum, and what they're capable of doing beyond that. So that's all I have. It's not as fancy and as polished as everybody else. I apologize for that. But if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Ted, and to Miami University. Our final presentation tonight will be from the University of the West. Take it away, Justin, whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Interesting. Welcome. My name is Justin Baker. I'm the enrollment counselor at University of the West. We were founded in 1991, located in Rosemead, California, which is in LA County. We are a private nonprofit, regionally accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges and a liberal arts university. Three things that I think really set us apart from other schools. One is our cost. We're one of the most affordable four-year universities in California, especially private liberal arts nonprofit. And not only that, we're generous. We give away $1 million a year in scholarship. We're extremely diverse. We have a 50-50 split between international and domestic students at both the undergraduate and graduate level. And personal attention. At UWest, our internal name for ourselves. At UWest, you are a name, not just a number. The mission is to provide a whole person education in context informed by Buddhist wisdom and values, and facilitate cultural understanding and appreciation between East and West. Our three values, our main core values, are character, compassion, and community. Our campus has residence halls, basketball court, dining hall, pool and jacuzzi, natural beauty, views of the San Gabriel Valley. It's an 11-acre oasis in the bustling LA metropolis. Nearby attractions were 25 miles from Disneyland, 10 miles to downtown LA, 15 miles to Universal Studios, and 20 miles to Santa Monica, where you can have fun at the beach. As I mentioned, our diversity, we not just bring in students from California or students from a particular area of the world, but we have all the continents represented, 44 countries, excuse me, not all the continents. We don't have Antarctica represented yet. So almost all of the continents and 31 states within our student body. And we're a small school. Here are some of the countries in which our students, current students, are coming from. We also have campus life, student clubs and service days. We have Interfaith Week and Common Ground Week. Interfaith in the fall, Common Ground in the spring, where we focus on what unites us rather than what divides us. And then we have events like U West Wednesdays, where we invite the entire community together, whether you're living on campus or whether you're commuting, to be a part of life on campus. We have business owners that are MBA graduates of ours, including a gentleman who owns his own boba company. And so they often will bring something to give to our students. Of course, we want you to be successful, so we have opportunities to help you be just that. Free tutoring that's done by actually one of our professors. Wellness center where you get free individual or group counseling from a marriage and family therapist, a licensed marriage and family therapist. Academic advising, career development support, Res Life, international student services, financial aid, of course, student recreation services like intramural sports and clubs, as well as services specifically for students with disabilities. For our housing, it is insanely inexpensive. I should say insanely affordable. A double room costs $2,200 for the entire semester. And all our rooms are set up kind of apartment style. They all have bathrooms and they all have air conditioning units, which in the San Gabriel Valley is super important. The U.S. undergraduate tuition you'll see there at the bottom of the screen, $12,765. That puts us right around the level of a lot of Cal States, especially if you were looking at out-of-state fees for one of those, where we don't have any out-of-state fees as a private university. We oftentimes are giving students 50% scholarships, so it's bringing that tuition down from $12,765 to $6,765 or so. We have the Meta Scholarship. We like to say that Facebook changed their name because of us, Meta meaning loving kindness. We have the Meta Scholarship. We have an AJ Wang Scholarship, which is stackable with the Meta Scholarship provided by an individual family. And then we also have a Dream Scholarship for any DACA students that are eligible to get $10,000 a year off of tuition. We have 4 undergraduate degrees, a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology, Bachelor's of Arts in Business Administration, a BA in English, and a BA in Liberal Arts. The next 3 slides are going to talk about the programs that have concentrations, so that you won't see a separate slide for psychology. So in business administration, we have concentrations in accounting, computer information systems, international business, and marketing. In English, we have concentrations in literature, as well as TESOL, which stands for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. Students can also do an add-on year where they can get a credential in TESOL or a certificate in TESOL that allows them to teach all around the world. And in liberal arts, we allow students to create their own concentration. And so they take classes along a wide array of disciplines. And then these are 3 real life examples of what students have done in the past: public relations and marketing, religion or world religions, and psychology. We have rolling admission at University of the West. So our application deadline is June 15th, although we'd encourage you to get it in earlier than that, because we start giving out scholarships on April 1st. Cumulative high school GPA 2.5. We're a part of the Common App, and if you apply through the Common App, you automatically get your $50 application fee waived. And you can also apply at us.org. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Justin, to you and the University of the West. I now would like to invite all of our presenters to turn back on their cameras. And we'll do a little bit of a round robin, answering questions in the order that you originally presented. So let's see here. So let's go with, what's one myth you'd like to debunk on the college admissions process? And we'll start with the University of Redlands.
Yes, a myth that I would like to debunk is to know that students, we are here to help you. That's something I hear often is, you know, it seems like students think we're against them, we're plotting against you, or there's some evil like plot to prevent you from going to school, but that is not the case. It is not like the Netflix, you know, admissions documentary, like that is not the situation. So we are here to help you. We want to help you. We are your advocates. We want to see you at our institutions. We want to see you thrive. And so know that, again, we're here to help you. We're not plotting against you. We want to see you successful. We want to see you happy. And so please reach out to us, utilize us. We are your best resources to help you and guide you through each of our institutions' processes.
So it's not necessarily a myth, but one thing I always like to tell students to not think about specifically is don't focus on one word. So colleges have this really annoying habit where every single one of these schools will rename something just so we can sound unique, or we'll turn it into an acronym. So as you're doing your college search, don't think of that myth of like, I have to know what it's called, because honestly, something as simple as theater will be renamed between the schools that are here today. So just go on Google and type in what else is this major called, or maybe this is my dream job. What can I study to get there? And you're going to get a lot more opportunities, and you're going to not miss out on other schools by only focusing on the one word you've ever heard it called.
Al, I think you're up next.
I was just sitting here. I think mine is that it's cheesy, but there are no stupid questions. This is not an intuitive process. If you haven't been through it before, you don't know what you don't know. And like Viviana said, like, we're here to help. We want to help you. So reach out to us with questions. We're never going to judge you for any questions that you have. We're a resource and we want to be.
I think one myth I want to debunk is that we actually do look at each and every application and we do read them all. We do read the essay. So when we ask you to write one, it is because we want to read it. So we do take this seriously, and we hope that you are too.
Thanks for that great question, Courtney. I'd say my answer would be that you can do it. You know, some people go, well, man, my junior year, my sophomore year was really bad struggle. You know, those grades really tanked, you know, or somebody might say, you know, I would love to, but first time in college, no one's ever done it in my family. I don't have any money. You know, there's a place for you. It might be at one of these 6 institutions that's on this Zoom call. It might be somewhere else. But for us at US, what I like to say is whole person education means whole person application. And so we're not just looking at one aspect of who you are saying, yeah, I didn't cut it. No, we're looking at the whole thing. Our goal is to try and be as accessible and affordable as to as many people as possible. I can tell from the passion in which my colleagues speak in this presentation that every one of us wants you to have an opportunity to go to college. That's why we do what we do.
So rapid fire, so 30 seconds or less. What is your favorite thing about your institution? We'll go in the same order.
Our students. I love our students. Our students are amazing. They make me happy. They bring me joy. They are dedicated to their academics, but also passionate about things that interest them. They are friendly. They are not pretentious, but they love what they do. And so I love our students. They make it a joy to work, and I think be a student here at Redlands.
Well, one fun thing, only because it's happening this week, is to remember we also host the world's largest student-run luau. So our students are actually putting on a massive luau on campus right now, which is really fun.
I think for me, our focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion is a big part of why I love Fort Lewis. With our diverse student body and offering that Native American tuition waiver, I think it's a really unique thing. And we want people to push themselves to grow at Fort Lewis, but also to find home and community. That's a big part of college as well.
I'm amazed at the level of research that our students do at the undergraduate level from their very first year. This is across all of our areas of study. I think a lot of students think that that's only something that natural science students get to partake, and that is simply not true. So when we do our undergraduate research forums, I'm consistently blown away by the ideas that are being presented. It's impressive.
For me, I'd say diversity. I've worked at churches and schools in a lot of different settings, and I've never ever worked in a place that's this diverse in terms of religion, in terms of ethnic, in terms of every diversity you can think of. And I'd say the other thing is that we're small. Our student body population right now is about 200 students. And I think that really is something that makes us really, really unique.
Well, I hope that you realize by now that these amazing professionals on the screen are really here to help you and be your advocates throughout this process. I think I can speak for all of them in saying enjoy this college search process. It can be fun, and it's certainly going to, your trip to college or your college adventure is going to be transformative. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. As you close out, there'll be a quick 5-question survey, so please provide us with some feedback. I told you this was going to be fun, so I hope that you sign up for some additional sessions in the coming days. Again, this was recorded this evening and will be available for playback at strivescan.com/Texas. Wishing you all the best with your college search. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.